Tell God the truth. This is Lessons on Prayer number 3 from my spiritual advisor. I'm Mark Kurowski, Executive Director and Spiritual Director for my spiritual advisor. I got dressed up for you today. I want to let you know that one of the things that happens in prayer that we have to deal with as spiritual directors is that people often don't want to tell God the truth. It's baffling. Psalm 139 tells us that we believe that God is everywhere. He knows our thoughts no matter where we are. I mean, we could go up to the highest mountains and he's there. We go down the lowest depths and he's there. We could try to hide and he's there anyway. So, why do we do this? Why do we do this? In fact, it's God who tells us that we ought to confess our sins. We ought to be truthful with him. But yet, whenever we go to pray to God, we're like this. Oh Lord, I want to approach you, thou magnificent one. I am so sorry for my sins which will remain unmentioned in this time. No! It's okay. Remember we talked about in lesson 1 that God is a person, right? Lesson 2, we have a prayer place where we go and we meet God. Well, here today, one of the keys to spiritual growth is to be totally truthful to God. There's two things that this says, this reluctance that we have to be truthful to God. One is it says that we don't trust him and that we cannot be trusted. One of the things in the Gospel of Matthew and the Sermon on the Mount, this series during this Lenten time, we see that Jesus is telling us that we should not have to be people of oaths. And the reason why is because we ought to be so honest and open with who we are that we don't need to take an oath. It's not necessary because we're the people who tell the truth anyway. So if you're going to be a spiritual person, you've got to be a person of truth and honesty, which means you admit that what's about you and you admit what's about the situation. So that's key. So the first thing that not being able to tell us the truth, tell God the truth is it says more about us than it does about him. The second thing is that God's request that we tell him the truth means this. He is more gracious and kind and loving and merciful than we could have ever fathomed. The one who says he will love us even when we tell him the truth about ourselves? Seriously, we couldn't even find a boyfriend, girlfriend, or wife or husband who are like that, could we? No. So, if you want to have a depth of spirituality and grow in your relationship with God, in your prayer place, at your prayer time, with the person of God, you need to tell the truth. I'm Mark Kurowski, Executive Director and Spiritual Director of my spiritual advisor, and I invite you to contact me at info@myspiritualadvisor.com to set up a private session where we can talk about prayer and how you can pray. I also invite you to join us on any other social media that you see here. Remember, my spiritual advisor, we're deepening the spirituality of humanity.